In this video I won't cover different cores but rather how to build any type of core. These things apply to most cores out there, even though most of the time I use OpenCore as an example. I have a video on my channel about different cores, go check it out if you can handle the low video quality. Part 1. Lootroom types. Lootrooms are the most important part of cores for obvious reasons. They are the reason why you have cores. So there are three types of lootrooms: normal, vaults and bunkered. Normal lootrooms have just a door or window depending on where you use it. Sometimes you want to make them a bit more expensive to raid in offlines and use them as kind of a honeycomb. However, the door is the best choice for progression, especially if you want to get your core down fast. Walls are placed below your core so that you access it through a half-height window. They are specifically made to soak rockets, and for that reason they are usually upgraded to HQM to make them even stronger. It's important to keep in mind that they still need to be easily accessible, and because of that the bottom boxes are usually raised with ramps. Attach these loot rooms together in the middle of the base to make your base tanky as hell. Lastly, we have the bunkered loot rooms. With these especially, it's crucial to remember to have good quality of life and overall accessibility to the bunker. The most familiar type of bunker, especially inside the core, is the wall stack bunker, and after that the offset bunker. They are both good choices, but for different types of situations. It's all about which bunker you can fit better to your base. I don't use offset bunkers that much because I build a bit larger bases and they might recalculate during a wipe, making the bunker inaccessible. There is a very low chance for that to happen, but it's possible. Now, where to have the bunker is a different case. It's possible to have bunkers fully inside the core, but it's pretty hard to do well. So what I like to do instead is to have the bunker a little bit further away from the middle and still have good mobility to it. This way it's much easier to actually make the bunker and it's not straight in the raid path. I usually just combine all these three types of loot rooms in my bases and they turn out pretty well. So don't just take only one type of loot room and go with that. Now, imagine that you come back to base with a lot of loot, like your team has inventories full of loot. You get inside to depot all the loot and you realize that you don't have enough boxes to fit all that loot. That would suck, right? So make sure to have enough boxes in your core and base overall. I like to have around 6 to 7 boxes per person, and more is always better. Maybe this rule doesn't apply to you since all you do is sit on build servers all day or don't get any loot in vibes. Nothing personal, but it might be like that, right? Anyways, make sure to have enough boxes and don't fully rely on boxes that are in the open, because you still want to make the raid expensive for the raiders. Part 2. Mobility inside the core. We just spoke about bunkers and a bit about connections. See, it doesn't matter what type of core you have, your loot rooms and bunkers need to be connected together so it's easy to navigate in your core. It improves your quality of life and overall experience when you don't have to spend much time on running from core to bunkers. Obviously, sometimes you want to have bunkers even more separated, and then you probably just move the loot to those bunkers when you get offline. You usually want to keep the mobility smooth and avoid many jumps. This helps you and your teammates from losing their minds when trying to move in core. Something that can help is to have boxes on the floor raised by ramps. This way your core doesn't have annoying drops and jumps all the time. Part 2.1. Mobility in and out of the core. Depending on the base size, having mobility chutes connected to your core is crucial. In small bases not so much, but when you build a bit bigger base, there is a need for mobility chutes to be connected to your core. Sometimes you can also have the mobility straight from the starter, and that can be a great benefit. The right amount of mobility chutes is connected straight to your group size. For example, small groups can do with 2 to 3 chutes and large groups would need around 6 chutes. Where to have the entrance then to your core? Well, that depends a lot on the base, and there is no right answer to this. So just keep in mind all of the things I talk about in this video and make sure everything is connected well. To learn more about mobility, I have a video about it on my channel. Part 3. Turrets. When you think about open cores and cores overall, turrets aren't the first thing that comes to mind. However, they are the most important thing while defending your core, and for that reason they need to be good. Good turret is one that has good visibility and it's somewhat protected, so it's not the first thing to blow up when raiders breach the core. Before, the visibility part could have been compensated with ramps to make the turrets much stronger, but at least today when I'm recording this video, that is not possible. Since you can shoot rockets through ramps, the only thing ramps now do is decrease visibility of the turret. Now ramp turrets only work in very special cases, and for that reason you shouldn't use them. The way to make good turrets now is to have them in the traditional way, so make sure they are out of the raid path, they have good visibility and they have chain link fences in front of them if that is possible. So don't have the chain links straight in front of the turret, since the rockets still do full damage to the turret. Part 4. Peeks into the core. If you're building anything other than a normal core, you most probably need peeks into the core. And even if you're building a normal core, you can still have peeks into it. There are two ways to have peeks: ramps and normal window peeks. Ramps have gotten a bit worse as we discussed in the turret part of the video, but they're still usable as a peeks. Just place a floor frame for extra stability, walls around it, and leave a half-height gap in the front and place the ramp. Just make sure that you are not completely exposed when peeking and that you have good visibility. The window peeks are probably a better option if that is possible for you to implement. I think this is pretty straightforward, just make the angles good and don't spam the windows everywhere. One quality peek is always better than 10 bad ones. I like to have the core peeks in a ring. That way you have a good mobility and you can change peeks fast. It also helps with ramp peeks, since you can approach it much better than you could when ramp is like this. You can also have peeks below. You basically just have a module where you have respawns and half-height windows making angle biters. This way you can quickly spawn inside and start defending from below as well. Part 5. Honeycombing. Honeycombing your core isn't necessary even if you want to make the raid expensive. Everything we have talked about in this video, like walls, bunkers, splitter loot, turrets and peeks, together make the base expensive to raid even when you are offline. The most effective way to make offliners cry is to scatter the loot around into bunkers. Then just add turrets and you have pretty beefy base to raid, since they have to raid every bunker separately. But if you really want extra layers, you can also try other things such as rings and shells. They add value while also adding raid cost. However, honeycombing has its place, especially in small bases. You can also just honeycomb the bunkers so that they are even more expensive to raid. Hopefully this video has helped you with building cores, and if it did, please leave a like and subscribe. Even though this is a pretty cringe thing to say, it helps both you and me a lot. But hey, you probably see this video, go watch it right now.